Oh God! All right. Well, listen. Let's get this party on the. Let's get this show on the road. Is that the way what we say? Okay. Welcome back to the Counter-Strike Casuals podcast. I am in a vest. It's episode 11. It is so fucking hot.
Right, put those hairy armpits away.
It's so hot, and I actually have my wife's deodorant on.
Why? Why your wife's? Surely men's is better, no? It's made for hairy armpits.
Because strangely, when I want to feel really fresh before I go to bed, I prefer to smell feminine. But when I go about my day, like I go to work or go to the office, I want to smell manly. And
So you want to smell feminine.
When I go to bed at night, if I've had like a fresh shower, like today's been like 30 degrees, man, and all these people,
it has been hot today.
All these people that are like, oh, English people can't cope. We can't cope. There's no aircon anywhere around here. I've got a rickety old fan on behind me, so if you can hear that buzzing away, that's that. And sorry. So when I have a shower at the end of the day, if I've been sweating all day, I like to
smell like a girl.
Smell like a girl, which I actually think is nicer.
Right. Well, as long as that's where you draw the line, and you don't do anything else with your wife's stuff.
I've got a thong on as well.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Should I be doing timestamps for you?
Nah, don't worry.
Okay, we're freestyling. Well, another week's gone. What have we been up to? How's your life been? What's your life like?
Pretty good, mate. Yeah. As you say, it's been really hot. And I've been working outside a lot. You see my tan? My t-shirt.
You do look.
You see my t-shirt?
Oh, you're trying to get your arms out because I've got mine out. Yours are a bit more impressive than mine, to be fair.
Yeah, my t-shirt tan on the go.
Yeah, proper trader.
I've been working outside. Yeah. But yeah, pretty good week. And CS-wise, pretty good week also because we've had the CS2 update. Everyone's super excited about that.
Well, we've been playing so much CS2. It's really been exciting for us.
Yeah.
Yep. Still no.
We didn't get the
invite.
And also the last tournament, the Washington one, was really good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that final more than the major.
Okay. All right. Well, we can come on to that. That's good because I'm glad you were paying attention because I was pretty much drunk for 72 hours.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a more active weekend than me.
I just had lots of social stuff going on, and this weather I really got carried away to the point of just drinking far too much all weekend, but it's all good. Well, let's start then with talking about the Counter-Strike update, because I think that was actually the more exciting news for me. Not because I have access to it or get to actually experience it, but it's just good to see some activity. And it feels like if there's activity, we might be getting closer to an actual release. The update was out, which meant they removed Dust 2 and they added Mirage. So that's really good for those people playing.
Do you know what? I was a little bit happy. I was like, do you know what? Fuck you guys that are all playing Dust 2. You're playing CS2 and you're complaining, oh, it's just Dust 2. We're getting bored of it. Well, what about us that we can't even play it?
We have to play Face It, normal CSGO, and we still only get one map anyway, which is Mirage. So...
Yeah, man, these people don't know how to born.
Well, exactly. So you've got boring to very boring now. So congratulations. The interesting thing about Mirage, as well as I watched some streams, and I've been keeping my eye on Twitter, and I heard that Mirage as a map does look very similar. I mean, some of the lighting in some areas looks good, like Palace and stuff, but generally, the general consensus is that it looks very similar, which I don't think's a shocking revelation, but...
Well, Chad mentioned because he's played a few of the maps, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Chad Sponge, for those that don't know. He's a ex-pro caster guy.
You're on first name basis.
Yeah, so he went down and he played at their headquarters, and he was saying the maps are the same. He's like, they are. It's basically the same game. They're just trying to make the same game. They're just trying to improve bits of it.
But I thought they overworked a few, like Overpass and things like that.
He said there's very minute differences, but it's nothing major. But apparently with Mirage, like even the little details are the same. People are moaning. Maybe if you weren't expecting that, maybe people would be a little bit like, "Oh, this is boring." But you know what I'm like.
Oh yeah, I'm still well up for it. It doesn't matter. I'll take Mirage CS2 now because I definitely feel fatigued with CS:GO just because I know that CS2 is coming now. So I'm like, okay, almost when we have our gaming nights, I think, could I be playing something else instead whilst waiting for CS2? Like, what's the point of putting so much graft into, like, if we're trying to push face it ranks, like, what's the point? So I'd take Mirage right now any day just to get used to it. Other things that they meant to have fixed in it as well were the movement, or they made some changes to the sub-tick, all the complicated Einstein level sub-tick stuff, which, again, I watched a lot of Pimp, which I watched a small amount of Pimp, really. I watched it and then I was getting a bit like, well, it's hard to watch sometimes. And he was saying it felt still very, like, not right. Something was off with the movement and almost still a bit clanky, which I definitely thought they would have fixed that, or that was something when I saw that I was like, they've pretty much taken it back to CS:GO, because I don't think the movement in CS:GO needed any work.
No.
So
I think that was part of the problem with Source. Like, I felt the movement was weird, and that's why I didn't really play it much. And
I
when
can't even remember what Source was like for that kind of stuff.
Because obviously we played 1.6 in CZ, mainly CZ.
I didn't play much Source at all.
But when I did play a bit of Source, but yeah, I didn't really like it, and I think that was the main reason.
I thought the spray and the feel of the guns was the weirder thing in Source for me, but again, I can't remember. That's the one I played the least of. It's just like, this is shit, yeah. The other big news is the wheel is gone, so no more buy wheel, which some people are like nostalgic about it, but I don't really care. I think that loadout screen and stuff looks pretty cool. I like it. I think it's...
Yeah, I prefer that.
So that's a nice little upgrade, and then you get the option of these loadouts, which, you know, I know you're dying to hear what I'd pick, but we won't go into that then. Are you gonna have an M?
No, it is interesting. Like what?
Okay, are you gonna have an M4? Are you gonna have a silencer and a normal?
I'm definitely gonna be trying different things, and I think I will try that because I've not used much of the is it the A1S?
Yeah, so I've taken this. I've taken the silencer off recently.
Oh yeah. What did you think?
I've been playing with that for since we started this podcast. I pretty much changed it straight off the bat. Yeah, whatever. I don't really notice too much of a difference. I just go with it now. They feel quite similar.
I'm still using the silencer, but I'm just like, I don't really care, to be honest. But I just feel like
it's nicer having more bullets. Definitely nice having more bullets. And also with CS only being a 5v5, and like often when you're in the throat, when you're CT and you're holding, I'm not too bothered about the silence element. I don't actually think that's a massive big deal. I'd rather actually have the extra bullets, I think. So I think I'm going to stick with it. I still probably will have the option in the loadout, but we'll see. And then I'm definitely going to go AWP Scout and FAMAS, because
AWP Scout and FAMAS.
2 M4s, AWP Scout, FAMAS. But
and there's the same on T side, but obviously the Galil.
Yeah, and the thing instead of the FAMAS. So the Galil instead of the silencer.
Would you not have the AUG?
No, I never use it.
Okay.
I just never buy it. So
to be fair, I don't buy anything other than M4 or an AWP.
We buy a lot of the sub stuff when we're struggling for money, right?
Yeah, sometimes I do use like the Galil or the FAMAS, yeah.
I've seen a lot of chat about the shotguns and shotties. I never ever buy a shotty, not even for like joke rounds. I'd rather just try and Desert Eagle people just for fun, and so that's quite annoying that they're going to take up some space on like the options. You know what I mean? But
they're just the mid-tier ones, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're involved with the SMGs.
Yeah, but there's only so many SMGs. We could have the MP9 or Mac 10 as T or CT.
It's a bit annoying that we have less options in game because, like, now and again, you might just want to troll and buy a Negev or whatever.
Yeah, but we don't ever. You and me, we're casual players. We say we're casual, but then when we're actually in the game, we're quite like focused, and we don't usually troll that much. Our trolling's more done. We're not really trolls. Our trolling is more piss taking through voice when someone's a dick.
Yeah, but we're old men. We're pretty tame.
Yeah, we're not like.
We're pretty chill. To be fair, I just mainly stay quiet, even if someone's giving me shit. Like, I don't really say anything.
Yeah, a bit scared, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want any lashback.
Yeah, so that's the.
What else was new? I was wondering if the lineups, the nade lineups are the same, especially with this sub-tick shit that's going on. So if like some decent lineups on CS, is it going to change when CS2 comes out?
Well, be interesting actually. We should watch some more streams then, because everyone's playing Mirage, and that's one map with a load of lineups that we know. So
yeah,
you probably see. Well, then the other big news is selling the weapons, which is, big win.
Yeah,
should be there.
It should have done it a long time ago.
Yep. So fine. That's a plus. No issues there. And the more exciting gameplay stuff I noticed was the grenades. When you throw a grenade in smoke, that clearing effect is reduced slightly. I don't think it's massive, but it's reduced. Which again, I think we're probably gonna like, because we're old Counter-Strike players that don't like too much change. So we're sure to get tilted at some point when someone clears a grenade, smoke with a grenade and kills us.
Yeah, because I love a smoke grenade as well. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this personally, but I think it's good for the game. But
It's actually,
I don't know. It's going to fuck me up quite a bit.
It's actually effectively removing like 80% of your skill from the game now.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I'm going to quit. When CS2 comes out a month later, I'm going to quit and never play again.
Brly's only role was smoking. When we played the other day, and like we won a round, we weren't okay. Was it yesterday? We weren't even playing properly. We were playing unranked, just messing about. And after a round, we might not have even lost any of our team. We just steamrolled. And you're like, no one says anything about my smokes, man. It's so underrated.
Yeah, because we basically got on the bomb site because of my smoke and planted the bomb, and I'm sure they still had like 4 guys going.
It was like we were steamrolling them.
Yeah, but
it was important. Thank you.
Aren't appreciated.
It's true, they're not appreciated. Well, I feel like I do appreciate them because I actually try to learn how to smoke properly because of you. Anyway, and then if you buy a shotgun, which I've already said I'm not going to buy a shotgun, so this isn't that exciting for me. But they create a larger hole or clearance in the.
That's interesting though. Like, do you think they're going to be bought more often because of that?
It makes me then think, should I buy it or not really? Because I still think if you shoot a smoke, unless you're so close to them, if anything, you're probably going to just give your position away. And even if someone's got a Mac 10 or something, I fancy their chances over you.
Yeah.
Or a Desert Eagle, or even a pistol. It's still a shotty.
If you're close, though.
If you're close, then fine. But
obviously you're going to be close, aren't you? Otherwise, you're not going to have a shotgun. So, and you're not going to shoot into it.
Yeah, but if you shoot into a smoke, okay. Let's say Dust 2. I'm CT and I'm holding car through over at like crossover, and you're coming up mid, and you're in that little cubby bit. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't know what map you're talking about.
On Dust 2.
Dust 2, yeah.
Dust 2. I'm CT at car with an M4. And I've smoked crossover. You're walking up mid and you've got a shotty. You're not shooting to clear that with it, are you?
No, but if you're close, so let's say you're CT, you're long or whatever, and you end up running back and you end up in that little crossover bit, and they smoke it, yeah?
But you might not...
You can hear the guys running down.
Right.
Boom, you blow a hole in it with your shotgun. Just start taking heads with your shotgun.
I'll just shoot you quicker with my M4.
Nah, mate, one tap. I don't even need to click on your head, like just near your head and it'll headshot you.
I don't know. I think some people are going to enjoy it for a bit and then realise it's dog and not bother.
Was it rain or...
No.
I saw someone get a few good kills with a shotgun the other day.
Yeah, wasn't it...
What team was it?
Because Thing me had in his fantasy. Our mate had him in his fantasy team.
Hunter.
G2. It was G2 at Washington on Nuke, and I can't remember who they were playing. And I was giving him grief for having Hunter in his fantasy because I was like, G2 are playing so shit. And then Hunter like won the round with a shotgun. Anyway, that just shows you again. Don't ever listen to me.
Yeah. Oh. Go on. We'll go. Are we on to Washington?
No,
Yeah.
we're not on to Washington yet. Well, the other thing that is a bit exciting, exciting bit. We won't talk about all the workshop map stuff because we're never going to make a map. But was the live bans as well? Yeah, so that Valve will potentially ban a player in the game. So if there's like an actual cheater, they won't like wait and review it. They'll just do it. I don't know how that's going to work in terms of how they determine exactly who the cheater is. If it's just done from like the amount of reports or whatever, but they're going to actually.
It's a good thing anyway. And again, same as the sell back on your guns. It's about time they've done this. They do need to. They need to
really up their game with it.
Yeah,
100%. It needs to be like Valorant in that sense. Like Valorant do have
especially
a really good.
Valorant. I think that's the good thing about Valorant. Like they've got a few good things like that. They can't have hackers in there, and it's going to push Valve a little bit. And I think it's about time that they had a competitor to kind of motivate them.
100%. Okay, we can talk about Washington. So,
right, well, firstly,
go.
I want to take loads of credit for picking Heroic.
Yeah, I said Vitality to be fair, so we were both quite close, but
yeah, we did well.
Heroic were very good the whole way through, and Vitality actually looked dodgy in parts leading up to it.
Yeah,
right?
they had a slow start, didn't they? They lost 2-0 to Imperial to start the game, but Imperial were playing well.
Yeah, well, Imperial were the surprise, I think, right?
Yeah,
They were the surprise package.
Jokingly said, like on the last podcast, by recent form, pick Imperial because they'll probably win it. The underdogs keep doing so well, and they did really well.
They did, and even their losses were quite close, I think. They're close games against G2 and Heroic, which were the teams they lost to, and they weren't.
Yeah, they were 2-1, weren't they?
Yeah, and even on the decider map on one of them, it was really close. And I don't know if all this chat about Fallen getting picked up by like Fury and stuff is. I think that happened before this Washington run, maybe. I don't know.
It was, yeah.
I mean, we don't need to get into all that because I don't think it's that exciting. I'm not that bothered about where Fallen goes now, but
he was playing so well though.
I know.
I mean, he's really up and down though. He's a proper up and down player. But when I watched him against, was it Heroic? Yeah, I think it was against Heroic. Fallen was hitting some AWP shots that were unreal. Like, when people jiggle peek the corner, he was like hitting their elbow as they jiggle peek.
Really?
It was insane.
Mate, did you see Cadian's boosted AWP shot on Zyru on Vertigo? I didn't watch much of the final. I watched like a bit of it. And Cadian hit some mad boost shot. I have to try and find it. I'll show it to you after. It's mental. So Yabi was MVP as well, which I was actually really happy about because I feel like Yabi for so long has been talked about so much, and it's good to see him performing to his best and coming home with an MVP award. It was another disappointing run for G2 and FaZe. I don't know, man. I mean, the sooner G2 sort out Hooksy problem and sort that roster out and just start afresh, the better. Because I don't know.
Well, I thought they were gonna get rid of him and get Shushi, whatever his name is. Shui from Gamer Legion.
It's looking unlikely now.
But he's going to Mouse apparently.
Yeah. Anything else we liked about Washington? Blast TV. Blast stream was sick again. Their stream is so nice.
The stream is so good. yeah, if anyone wants to watch it, try and get to a computer and watch it on blast.tv if you can. But the final was really good. Like I said earlier, the final on this was better than the major.
It was more
This is the
entertaining,
final we
wasn't it?
wanted at the major, wasn't it? It was like, Vitality against Heroic. That's what it should have been. Heroic should have beat Gamer Legion, and they should have played Vitality in the final.
Yep.
That would have made the major more exciting for me personally. I imagine if you're obviously a Gamer Legion fan or you like massive underdog, then you would have enjoyed that more. But yeah, this is the game 1 versus 2 in rankings. This is what everyone wanted.
Yeah,
But
no, I do.
interestingly, would you say overall in the rankings this would take Heroic over Vitality? Or would you
No,
still put Vitality number 1?
no, I'd still put Vitality number 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I just thought it posed a question. I think Heroic have to do a little bit more. But the final was sick. It was so good. Cadian played really well. Zywoo was up and down.
Yeah, it took him a while to get going, didn't it? Which I feel like that happens.
But even this is like I said this last week with Heroic. All their players can perform, and they work so well together. And I was thinking about this with Apex giving it the big one after the major, saying, "Oh well, I've got my fucking major now." Blah blah blah. It's like, well, yeah, but you've got Zywoo, best player in the world, Spinks, who's fucking sick, Dupree, and Magis. Like they're all sick players on paper. In this game, you've got Zywoo, yeah, he's the best player on the server.
Mm.
Then Spinks. Then maybe Stown.
Yeah.
Then.
But Stown didn't even play that well on this.
He didn't play that well, no. But then, with Magis and Dupree, they're all probably even skill-wise with the rest of Heroic.
I would say when Yabi is firing.
Or maybe. Yeah, maybe,
and
but
actually,
Magis can get to that level.
Yeah.
Magis can get to that level, though, and play at Yabi's level, I think.
So what are you saying? You're saying that Vitality...
What I'm saying is Apex is underperforming a little bit, considering he's got the best players in the world. I don't think he's as good an in-game leader as Cadian is.
I think
he's good, but considering his team, they should have won.
Yeah, but I think they've just come off the back of the major win, and it's you're not. Gonna, it's not.
Harsh. I'm not going to be like, oh, get rid of Apex, and I don't want to be like a prisoner of the moment. But I thought this for a while, even during the major run. I don't like. They're obviously a good team, and I do think he's good. But yeah, you have got a sick team at the same time, so it's hard. I think it's really difficult to say how good is an in-game leader when they've got such a great team behind them. Same with your beloved Carrigan a little bit as well. Like his team's sick and they're not doing very well at the minute.
Yeah, but I think there's also a real lack of quality in-game leaders, right? Or like in-game leaders that will stand out. Like Cadian's one of those ones who's also an in-game leader, but is also AWPing and often not bottom of the ratings, whereas a lot of other in-game leaders are bottom of the ratings, not making an impact with their an AWP because they're not AWPing. So there's a real lack of, I think, good quality in-game leaders. Again, I just think that's what's going on here, which is why now Shui might be going somewhere else, and there's so much hype around him because he's like a 20-year-old, like, young up and coming. So I think that's also your problem. Like, it's almost like no one wants to be the captain, do they? Would you rather be... Certain people do, but like most people don't want to be the captain and calling all the shots, and because everyone then looks at you and has a moan at you. So I don't know. I think it's that and being a coach is an area where most people probably don't get that much props when they win, and then when they lose, they get like
they get all the blame.
All the blame, exactly. So I think it's a hard job, which is why again, even with like the Hooksy stuff or with everyone now coming out saying Dexter's shit at Mouse, and if Shuey goes there, that he's like going to save them. It's like I'm always a bit cautious around in-game leaders. The Hooksy one is more like it's been going on quite a while, and I almost feel like I'm following the crowd a bit because so many people say it. But again, I always feel like you have to give in-game leaders a bit of like benefit. Yeah, a bit of the benefit of the doubt. I think that's a hard job to do. Like, would you rather be Dupree or Apex? I'd just rather be Dupree, wouldn't you? Just be the geezer that's like, not expecting to do much, but be a bit consistent sometimes, and not have to take any of the blame when shit goes wrong.
Yeah, I think
Magic
with their team, with Vitality and Apex, they're all a little bit older, and they're all well versed in the CS world and competitive scene and performing at a high level, so they can all kind of help each other. Like listening to the voice comms, you can hear that none of them are afraid to say anything. They're all willing to talk. I would say the quietest one out of all of them, Spinks or Zywoo.
Right, yeah.
But I think it works well. I think they seem to get on pretty well. They're all quite mature, and I think that's why they're performing so well. Same with Heroic. They're not all the same age, but Cadian he seems like a big brother to them all.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe I get from them.
They look up to him a lot, but they all seem
they seem very sensible.
Really close.
Heroic seem like the type who, like, if it's in let's assume we're at school and you've got to do a group presentation, Heroic are the ones practicing that group presentation, and they've got it all done like 3 days before the group presentation, whereas some of the other teams, like FaZe, definitely feel like a team where like the night before they're like fuck man, we've got to like just turn up and like turn the charm on, and then
FaZe are one of those teams that they're probably like they're all just doing their own thing, and they think they'll do it because they're all sick at whatever subjects, but they've not been talking to each other.
They're a bit like you and me with this podcast. We just turn up like 10 minutes before and just see what happens. If we were like Heroic, we could actually have a world-class podcast on our hands.
Yeah, we need Cadian on board.
Yeah.
What's your opinion of Cadian? Because like he's really controversial. They were like literally chanting Cadian while the other half of the crowd were booing.
No, I really like Cadian, definitely. Yeah, because he is fun and he brings the hype, and he does hit some fucking... When you actually look at some of his AWP plays, they're really good. Like, he does hit some mad stuff. And I got like Cadian, and I think that what he does with that team is exactly what you'd want in a captain or leader position. And I've heard him talking a lot of interviews recently, and he was saying on a few of them, like, we are the team that eats together, and we'll make sure we do everything together because we are a team. That's how I want it to be. So yeah, you got to rate him. I think he would inspire me to play for him if I was in a team with him. You know what I mean? I'd be like, we got to put our shit together here, man. Like, Cadian's right. Do you know what I mean? So I like him a lot. What about you? You get a bit wound up at his theatrics.
No, I do like him. I do. Sometimes the show voting's a little bit like, just hold it till you know you've won, or you're pretty confident you've won.
But that is to get the crowd engaged, and thus hopefully it will be a bit of a mind game on the other team. No.
Yeah, maybe, and I also like contradict myself because I like that he wears his heart on his sleeve and he's so emotional, and I guess that comes with it, like the showboating and whatnot. I don't mind it, but sometimes it's just a little frustrating because
arrogance.
I usually want Heroic to do. I want them to do well because I like the personalities of the team. So then when it's messing about, I'm a little bit like, don't give them an excuse to laugh at you. Like, if you're celebrating now and the next round you get smashed, and that's what happened when we were watching it. He stood up doing his little dance, and our mate was laughing, saying, "Look at his little dance thing. He'll get his head taken off next round." Literally, the opening kill, he got headshotted by Zywoo on the next round, and I'm like, that's why you need to stop this dancing.
Yeah.
Well, it comes from a good place. I'm saying it because I want him to do well.
Yeah. You just don't want him to be embarrassed.
Yeah, well, obviously he's not because he still keeps doing it.
Yeah, and
sometimes he makes some calls. We've mentioned this, like like hero calls sometimes, but I guess again I'm contradicting myself because that's what makes him so great. Like he makes some mad calls, and if it works, you're like that was a sick call. If it doesn't work, you're like, what are you doing? Like they had a bomb site. I think it was on. Pretty sure it was Inferno. They had A on lockdown or B, sorry, and then he decided to go to the other bomb site thinking that they'd be rotating, but they didn't rotate. They were just
Right.
there. So he ran on with it with the bomb out, and they just killed him and won the round.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's
They won.
Yeah.
They did something right.
Oh yeah, he made some great calls. Like that one, I was a little bit frustrated, but then I understood why he did it, and then afterwards he was still making great calls, so it didn't affect the game.
No, fair enough. Well, they deserved it. GG. Well, that is actually this. Is it even called a season in Counter Strike? The season's over. That marks the end of competitive Counter Strike at the moment. The player breaks happen now, so I think the next main events or interesting events are there's qualifiers for the Blast Premier Fall Finals, which we'll talk about, and then IEM Cologne, which is the end of July, which interestingly they've just announced who's going to be at Cologne and the invites, which it's a good lineup, man. I like the look of it all. It's a lot of the guys that had a good major run. You know, the likes of Into the Breach are there. Your boys Into the Breach are in. Gamer Legion, obviously, given their run. Greyhound, the Imperial. It's been good to see them after this little deep run they've had. Big Academy. So Big Academy qualified and Big haven't. Big, the main team, haven't. So in Cologne, the Academy boys going to be there, not Big. So that's quite interesting. We'll see how they get on. Yeah, I'm excited for that. But the interesting thing I was going to say is then also between now and then, players are on a break, nothing's happening. Then when we get back, it will be the Blast full qualifiers, which we will talk about, because I was going to ask in the last year, let's say is it a season since they had their break? I don't know. The last year, what's been your standout moment? And I don't mean since 2023. I'd say in the last calendar year from now. So you can go back to June 2022. And mine, I'm going to go first, which you can share it if you want, actually. I'm not too precious about this. Is actually when we went to watch the Blast Premier Fall Finals, which they will be qualifying for soon for this year's one. And that was good fun, and that was probably the highlight of my last 12 months in Counter-Strike. And that was because it was fun, and we went to go together in person, in real life. And similar to how I feel now, I think we just got pissed for like 3 days in Copenhagen.
Yeah, it was a messy event, but it was so enjoyable.
Yeah, and I mean, we've spoken about it quite a lot, I think, and I wonder if many people that listen or are going to ever listen have managed to go and watch an event.
Would you? I know that you would do it again because we spoke about it, but would you recommend it to someone like who's a CS fan?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the only thing I think that could have been done a bit better, or their long days, which we spoke about with a mate recently who came with us. They are long days because we know Counter-Strike can drag on if it's 3 maps and things like that. But I would actually say as well, I did think there'd be more going on outside of the arena or like the games that were on. They had that weird, there was like a promotion for a TV show that was coming on, which was based in
Copenhagen Cowboys.
Right. Which I didn't even remember the name of. And it was pretty like, they were trying to push it a bit with some content while we were watching the show. But other than that, I was never going to watch it. It just didn't look like a bit of me anyway. Did you ever watch it?
No.
Right. So
pretty sure it was on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it was. It just didn't look that engaging for me, but there was that. I think Astralis turned up for a signing, but they weren't even playing in the. Were they playing in the tournament?
No, I don't think they were, but they did turn up, and I remember it was when Device just came back. But it
Yeah.
was pretty sick seeing them. There was a massive queue, obviously, to get signings and stuff.
The
but
queue was mental. We didn't wait for that.
we weren't going to queue up for a fucking signature, but it was cool seeing them there. Like, it was a bit of a surprise because I think we just went for a walk around, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we just saw them.
Well, I think that's when we were like, let's go see what else is happening. It might have been a break, or there was not the most exciting game, and that was it, though, wasn't there? There wasn't like anything. I don't know what I expected, but
so what was the best thing about the event then?
I think it was the atmosphere. Like, the atmosphere was really good, and the crowd was good. I think the Danish love Counter-Strike, so that helps. Copenhagen itself as a city is a lot of fun. Like, it's nice,
I
clean.
really like the city. Yeah, it's really good.
Nice, clean. It's not like there was lots to do. Like, we went and did other stuff.
Transport was good. Food was good.
Yeah. Not cheap, but we knew that. So when you know that you're going, it's not going to be cheap. It's all right. But the atmosphere, like, you know, even on the days where I had food too many beers and I was just screaming Carrigan's name, like, all the people around us weren't. No one was dicks. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was like,
well, people are getting a bit leery, having drinks and stuff, but in a good way. Everyone's in a good mood. Everyone's proper hyped. They do a really good job of like keeping the
crowd engaged.
Yeah, I was going to say the
arena.
vibe. Like, they do a good job like keeping it going. And even though it can be a long day, I think they do a good job of keeping everyone entertained.
Yeah, and Heroic won that, didn't they? It was Heroic FaZe that.
Yeah, and you bought a Heroic top.
I did. I wore it in the. Did I not wear it in the first podcast or second podcast?
Yeah.
I should have wore it tonight because the Heroics won.
Yeah, you're too hot though.
Yeah, I'm too hot.
Your little vest.
I should have made a little vest out of my Heroic top.
The guns out.
Oh, I was trying to make myself look bigger there. Flex.
You smell nice though.
I do. Very feminine, and I've been drinking.
I was going to say, if you were going to do it again, would you do anything differently?
Is Diet Coke feminine, or am I now just offending people?
Yeah, no, it is.
Would I do it again? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, love to.
No, what would you? Would you do anything differently?
No, probably not. Right? I think it was. We went. Did we go on? We watched a Saturday and a Sunday. Yeah, we watched the day before.
Was it just 2 days?
Yeah, we only did. I think we only watched the.
So when did we get there? On the Friday night.
Got there Friday night.
Yeah.
Went out. Few too many. Then we went to the actual event Saturday, which was like the semis.
And that started at what time was it? Did we get there like midday? So we went for breakfast in the morning. Did we get some bikes that day?
Yeah, we had a cycle around Copenhagen. That was fun.
And some bikes, yeah, that was pretty funny.
Then we went to the event, which was the semi-final. So it's 2 matches. Yeah, 2 matches, 4 teams, and then the grand final was the Sunday.
Did we go out that night after it?
Yeah. I can't remember.
Yeah, we had a lot of drinks. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because you are there so long. Like, I'm sure we had like 11 pints or something one day.
Yeah, and then the Sunday we went to the theme park, amusement park in Copenhagen, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, the final started later, didn't it?
Yeah, the final was late because it was only that game, and there was a show match as well, wasn't there?
But we were a bit rough, and then we went on that fucking ride that was like spinning. So the actual cart was spinning, and it was flipping upside down, and then it's rotating round, while the whole thing was rotating the opposite way.
And then that sent me down for the day, and then I basically was in a bad place because that really activated like a hangover in me, and ended up having to drink my way through it for the final.
Yeah, you absolutely soldiered through it.
And I remember turning up to the final, and all the lads that we were sat near were there from the night before, and they were like, "Oh, how's your head? And did you go out?" Oh, they asked me questions, and I'm like, "Did I even speak to you yesterday?"
You don't even recognise them.
I'm like, who are these group of people? Like, almost know my life. And it was then I realised that they were all very nice people, just letting me get absolutely wasted and enjoying my time. But I really enjoyed it, and that's definitely been my highlight in Counter-Strike even though I would have watched lots of other games or played it, like that is truly the highlight of my last year. I mean, in particular, I'd even say go as far as to say Counter-Strike in general, because it was just good vibes, man. Really good fun. And I think second to that would be starting the podcast with you. That's been my... Do I get emotional?
Oh.
It's all this feminine deodorant and Diet Coke's getting to me.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I would say that is definitely our personal standout moment for CS. I was also, like, if I had to pick something else, I would say I really enjoyed the Into the Breach run at the major, just because
He had to get it in there.
Yeah, not a lot of stuff are standing out for me, but that was pretty good for British CS. Like,
Yeah.
I have thought it would be nice to have some like good British CS teams, and yeah, they're not amazing, but it was fun while it lasted.
Well, I'm shocked with all this shooey noise coming out of the back of the major, which makes sense. I'm shocked there's not been more around Cypher. Actually, I would have thought there would be rumours of that happening. I thought as well with IM from Game Legion as well. I thought there'd be more rumours about him already, because I thought this is the time for it all to start kicking off with the roster changes and the transfers. But
I think it is. Maybe on the next podcast we'll be talking about it.
Maybe. Okay, so now the player breaks on. That means the rumours were that CS2 might be out now, or come out now, but I'm actually not sure because they've only just released this updated beta, so I feel like we're still weeks.
Yeah, they moved the goalposts with this update.
Yeah, I think this is kind of set it back. Not that I think they plan to set it back, but like because we didn't know anything. In my mind, I was like, actually, it might come out during the player break. I can't see it happening now. I actually think it's more likely to just be at the end of summer, because I think they've got this release out now. They want to get all the bugs sorted, all the fixes in, and all the chat about that gone. So that's disappointing, but I've got a strong suspicion. I think it's like proper end of summer, like August now. I wouldn't be surprised if we like August when it comes out.
How long have till they released it?
Till they release what?
The beta.
Oh, I don't know. It's been a while.
Over a month.
Probably feels like at least 4 weeks.
But so would they need that long again to go through what new stuff they've gone through, like the new stuff they've just released? Will they need that much time again?
I don't know, because they'll be collecting lots of data now from all these people playing now Mirage as well.
Depends on the movement stuff, I guess, like how much they want to change this movement stuff, and how concerned they are about the movement stuff. Like, do the pros think they could play a professional game of Counter-Strike right now, or do they,
No, I think they probably will feel it's too different in that sense. But who knows? It's hard to say when we haven't played it, got hands on it. Do you know what I mean?
Could be in a month. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm managing my own expectations, but I'm calling August. So let's see. Away from the professional game and our experience stuff, interestingly, I was watching. What game was it? It might have been. Let me just check very quickly. So, okay,
was it Washington?
Yeah, it was Washington. It might have been G2 Vitality semi-final.
Yeah,
I was watching a bit of that in bed, or maybe it was Vitality FaZe. I was watching a game, and my wife, who is very good at trying to get involved, or at least pretend like she wants to know a bit more, which is I respect that, fair play to her. She started watching it a bit with me and was asking me questions, and then she very quickly then turned it into like the old classic. What's really the point in this? Like, why is this guy getting paid to do this? And that was kind of the consensus and the like. Why are you watching this actually? Like, at first it was like, oh, so is that Zyru? And is he got the bomb? Or what's he doing now? And it was like, okay. And then it was quickly like, well, I'm not sure I get why we're actually watching this or what the point in any of this is. And then and my reaction was very, well, what do you mean? Like, watching it because it's enjoyable. I enjoy it, and it's a sport, and I'm watching athletes, and then
It's all of athletes, but yeah,
and
go on.
then it snowballed to, what? This it's not sport. They're not real. This is not real job, and that's where a healthy debate started between me and Mrs. Diz, which ended in, I think she's not that keen on Counter-Strike anymore. And me coming out of it thinking, well, what do esports and Counter-Strike professionals do for the economy and communities? Because where we started going was, or where I started likening it to, is other sports, or traditional sports is what I actually like to call them, which is the footballs and basketballs of the world. And in basketball, do they do stuff with community groups? Do you know?
Yeah.
They're made to.
A lot of the NBA players have their own camps and stuff like that. I don't, but yeah, they do.
That would be okay. This sounds really bad. Maybe I shouldn't say this. I doubt all of them want to do that kind of stuff. I suspect most of them are made to as part of PR and marketing, or I know.
Yeah, well, there's like say 500 players in the NBA. I think most people do want to do good. Most people are good people, and they do like giving back to the community. And yeah,
but why is Counter-Strike and esports still not seen as like a real thing?
Because it's gaming, and it's seen as unhealthy, whereas playing sports is seen as a healthy social activity, whereas gaming isn't, because you're sat staring at a screen.
Okay, but my point is, if it's entertainment and it's an entertaining thing to watch, then and these people we're watching and investing time and energy, or we paid tickets to go watch these people live at an event. Okay, how is that still not classed as like a real job in a way? Forget calling it athletes and let's call it entertainment. Let's call them entertainers.
Well, at the end of the day, I agree with you. They're skilled at their job, and it's that they're entertaining to watch because they're so skilled. So the only people that can really appreciate what they're doing is other people that play the game or know about the game and have played the game.
Yeah, and I guess
in terms of, it is basically the same as a sport, though. At the end of the day, what is Messi doing?
And what about chess as well? Stuff like that. So I'm just thinking back to my debate that I was having with.
Well, it's the same, isn't it? Anything like that is the same.
But that would be looked at as more a real job. And another argument I had, or point, was that, for example, their skills are not transferable to another job, which I found very wrong, because I said, how do you mean? And again, not digging Mrs. Diz out, because it was a completely fair debate that we were having, and it was actually, I enjoyed it. But I enjoy these kind of debates. And we were talking about Monacy, so GT must have been on because we're talking about Monacy. And I said Monacy's like an 18-year-old Russian computer game prodigy. Like, I said, no offense, Mrs. Diz, but I'm sure he could whip up a spreadsheet quicker than you, because we're both in desk-based jobs. And I said, even me, like my job is desk-based at a computer. I trust Monacy knows probably how to do things quicker than me half the time, and so I think his skills probably are completely transferable, and I think they are all transferable, which is why you do see a lot of them also go and get degrees in management or finance or whatever. Even their day-to-day games that they have, right, and the matches they play, they're already thinking of this. They've got communication, they've got problem solving, they've got corporate buzzwords that, like, if you work in any corporate job, they throw at you.
They could literally write a huge CV of all the attributes that they get from playing CS.
Half of them are now getting media trained or have exposure to playing in front of crowds, pressure situations.
Problem solving and managing people as well. Like, you're working within a team and it's a close-knit team. It's not like you're working in an office team. That's slightly different. This is like a team-based sport where you have to be able to communicate with everybody. You have
Yeah,
to, otherwise you're not going to be able to be a professional player.
exactly that. And so I think the idea that this entertainment is not still viewed as a real job or not, like, it's
I think it
pointless.
depends. Well, it depends on the culture as well. Like I think in some countries it is more so than the UK, and I think that's why we don't have many um, highly skilled players. Like we do have
Mm.
them. Obviously, we've got there's a lot of people there that play
Yeah,
games. But
it's not like Denmark
but
where
yeah, if you were playing for 8 hours, people would be like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're wasting your life." And there's more to see in the world, which I do get. But I kind of like I've had similar debates with my wife, and it's more she's saying she doesn't want our boys to do that for a living. But would you rather they were sat at the computer making spreadsheets for 8 hours a day, or sat with
yeah,
some mates playing a game and
yeah,
getting paid more
yeah. I think that
and traveling the world?
this is it, and this is my point. Where I feel like if my son or daughter says I want to try and be a professional gamer, you've still you've still got to wait. You've still got to go out and exercise. You've still got to go see friends. In the same way, like you said, oh, a solicitor. A solicitor is looked at as a really respected job, or a lawyer. For all our American viewers, you guys out there in America, you need to find us first. But anyway, that seems. But I have friends that trained as solicitors. Those guys will work to the bone in an office, man. They worked long hours. Like you're talking 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. sat in a room, computer, looking through PDFs, like proper dog work. Like, and I think when you come out of it, you start getting paid quite well eventually. But I think that can be just as unhealthy. I think that's actually more unhealthy than maybe trying to be a pro gamer, or if you
Yeah, I
make
think
it.
there's a massive inconception
You
with it.
still need to go out
Definitely,
and
like
exercise and see
100%.
friends, right?
Yeah, of course, but it's the same like any office-based job. And
Yeah,
let's face it, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of them now. Like most people work at a computer.
yeah,
From what I experience now. Obviously, I don't, but I know most people do. So I think people need to get it through their heads. But I also think it's time. It's a time-based thing. Like when chess first came out, you mentioned chess earlier.
yeah,
Chess first came out. If someone was like, "Right, this is my job," everyone would have been like, "What you on about?
yeah.
Can't do that for a job."
I'm gonna
But
be a
like nowadays, it
grandmaster
is
of chess. It's
because
like,
there's actually people that want to watch it, and we found a way to fund that activity. Like there's sponsors and shit now. As long as someone's going to pay, if you're getting the views, there's going to be a sponsor or an advertisement company or someone that wants to get across to those viewers, and there's always going to be people that want to watch it because we're playing it. If anything, I would say it's more transferable than people watching football. Everybody loves watching football, but a lot of people don't even play it. They just watch it anyway. Whereas when we're watching CS, we can actually watch what they do, then go onto a server and say, right, I'm going to throw this nade that Monacy threw on Mirage and do the same nade. Like
you're
people on
saying
football can't really do that.
the skills we observe are transferable. So what we see them do, you mean? Sorry, yeah,
Yeah, but we can play the same map they're playing,
yeah,
and we've got the same available sources as what they have. In terms of the game itself, not talking about coaching and whatnot. Obviously, we're miles and miles away from them, but that's why it's entertaining to watch them because they are so good at it. But we're given the same tools and we can go and do that. I
mm,
know a lot of people do play football and they're going to pick up tips and whatnot, but most people, especially at our age, they're not playing football, especially not at a high level. When you're a kid, I kind of get it. Um, so it makes more sense for me watching CS than most people watching football, even
yeah,
though football is a massive thing. Um, it's just for me, it's just the same. Like
yeah.
watching that and watching a sport. What are they doing for society? Exact same as a gamer. Like, and what's the point in a football game?
Well,
There's absolutely no point.
the only thing I thought I did think about that was that I know that because I'm an Ipswich fan, I know that when I go on the Ipswich forums and stuff, they do a lot of like in the local community, they'll go to hospitals or they help. But my point with that is, I don't think a lot of them want to do that. I think they've just got to do it as part of their contract for signing for the club. Which doesn't mean it's like whatever, they're still doing it, which is great. So I think in that respect, there's probably a lot more that traditional sports will do in a local community sense. I think actually, I don't think many esports do.
I
that.
disagree. If you put it on levels, like football clubs are huge. Yeah, whatever they get paid, they're massive football club.
They don't
and they're way more famous than CS players,
Okay,
and they get paid a lot more.
Yeah.
So if you put in terms of scale, I would say they probably do about the same. I do think CS players do stuff for the community, whether they have to or not, I don't know. But I'm sure they do a little bit. And if they got paid the same as footballers and were as famous as footballers, of course they would. I
had a very brief Google and I couldn't find much on. I wanted a real life example of, Astralis went and helped out at a local hospice or something. I know that that's not necessarily what not all traditional sports people do either, but I've seen, again, just using Ipswich as an example, I've seen them go to like the hospital and like see sick kids. Feels like I'm just saying that blasé, but
it's also very different as well, because it's like
they're travelling a lot more as well. But
so let's say Into the Breach now was like, right, let's go and do something for charity. Let's go to the children's hospital. The children aren't going to know who they are, and they aren't going to give a fuck either.
Yeah.
Because CS is more worldwide.
Yeah.
That's why it's
specific.
It's mainly online. People are watching online, and that's where they get all the viewership from.
Yeah.
Whereas footballers, they have a base. If your local football team turn up, probably going to know who they are. Well, you would have at least heard of the club.
Yeah, no, that's actually a fair point. I then got onto the debate about the giving back to the economy and like society in a financial sense, and the only way I could really back my claim up was through taxes and the potential amount that organisations and players pay through taxes. But I haven't had enough time to do the full research, but I did look and I saw, because remember when Rop's accounts got announced like earlier in the year, and I think last year he made 800 grand, and I think that wherever he does his accounting, I can't remember where it is, it might be Sweden, he actually does it, they are very open like tax stuff where he would be paying tax, and probably quite a lot on that. Again, I haven't actually had enough time to do all the research, so this is a bit like generalization and generalized, but they will be giving back to the economy in that way. And interesting, I also looked at esportsearnings.com, and since CSGO started as a professional kind of scene, over 150 million has been given out in prize money to organisations. So that's creating
150 million, did you say?
Yeah. In excess of that. And so it was like 152, 8,000, something like. And when you think of all the people that's paid, content makers, coaches, they've got sports psychologists now, haven't they? They've got trainers, gym fitness trainers and stuff, because some of them go to the gym like every day. That's creating its own little economy and own kind of support bubble, which I think people just overlook. Like,
yeah, even the way it's moved around. Like, it was in Paris, and then it was in in the States. It travels around.
Those people get paid. The people serving us in beers in Copenhagen.
Yeah, and we went around Copenhagen. We went visiting the cities, the bars.
Yeah. So I think I felt quite strongly, because I'm still a bit surprised that it's not seen now as like a legit thing still. And it's like, how is it not? Or how do you not understand it is?
Do you think it will be, say, in another 10 years?
I think so, because at that point, it's
like now, like we have this debate as well, because I've got 2 young boys. It's like they talk about games all the time. And I say to my wife, we didn't do that when we were kids. It wasn't all about games. Like in primary school, I wasn't talking about different games on the PlayStation.
But I was actually, maybe not
in primary school.
Not at primary school, but I remember.
Maybe in high school, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I was playing games, and I was playing games, but it wasn't like a massive thing like it is now.
Yeah.
Like Roblox and Minecraft and Fortnite and stuff are massive for kids. Like every kid knows what that game is,
Yeah.
or those games even.
Well, I keep
Whereas
trying to get
when I
my
was
daughter to play
something like that.
Mario, and she's shocking.
Yeah, how old is she?
2.
You make me laugh.
I know. And I
You're
said,
dead serious as well.
I am dead serious because I was trying.
Snatch the controller off her.
She was clicking it, but not looking up, so she could move, and then she wouldn't look up. And I'm like,
she's 2. Give
I
her a
know,
break.
I know. I was like, you need to look up. And my wife said, you can't have it all. You can't have a gaming, and I was like, yeah, I can. I'm just gonna do it all. But yeah, I think she's gonna be good. Actually, she's not bad. She's got good hand-eye coordination, but for her age, so we'll see. But I think every parent
we all
says that.
think that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think my eldest is really good at games. Like he plays Fall Guys, and when I watch him play it, his movement and his timing is really good.
Yeah.
But
Go on.
my wife hates games with a passion, so yeah, she avoids it as much as she can.
Well, show her this podcast. This might, open the debate up. Well, when I next come and see you guys,
this expert said this. We should do like a double date. We can have a little debate off us versus the girls.
Yeah, fine. But then Mrs. Diz just says that I get vicious.
Yeah, we'll end up having a massive argument, and then we'll get divorced, and then we can just live together and just game.
Move in into the breach, boys. Well, that was a nice debate topic section. So, the other news, we're at an hour. We're over an hour. The only other thing we had to talk about was a bit of the Shuey news, but we've kind of touched on it anyway. He might be going to Mouse first team, whereas he started in the Mouse Academy, so that's an interesting story and turn of events. That means Dexter, who's the Australian in-game leader for Mouse, will potentially be freed up, with lots of rumours around that. Some people saying he might go to G2, by the way. We'll see how that pans out. Player break now. I must admit, it's a nice relief to just have a bit of time to focus on real life and work rather than keeping an eye on the results. And anything else?
But the next tournament, that the one you mentioned,
it's Cologne.
Cologne.
Yeah.
That one's in 6 weeks, is it?
I think it's about then. Yeah, it's July.
And that is going to be a CS:GO tournament. Are you sure?
I'm not sure, but there's some rumours it might be CS2, but I just can't see CS2 being released.
Well, yeah, I mean, that rumour's always going to be there, isn't it? Because it is summer. So.
Yeah, I just don't understand how, when they've just released a whole new update on the beta, and
let's say they release. So that's in 6 weeks. Let's say they release CS2 in 4 weeks.
And then it's gonna have a tournament 2 weeks later. I can't.
Or would they still do it in CS:GO?
I no idea. I thought Valve or Steam mentioned when it's out, and that's what we're doing. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, but surely the tournament organisers can do what they want.
Yeah, true. Unless it's a major, because that's one that Valve put the money in for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know, but I hope it's released sooner than later, because I'm ready fully now. Especially now, it feels like this is naturally coming to an end of this chapter. So.
Okay, and we're not sure whether we're going to do an episode next week or not. We'll play it by ear, I guess.
I'm going to Glastonbury next week. So, but that's later in the week, Thursdays.
Right. So, let's say if any big news happens, we might do a quick podcast.
We might do. We'll see. We're flexible. But if not, then yeah, I'm going to go to Glastonbury and be in a worse state than this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be
sick. I need to grow up, man.
Who you wanting to see there? Anyone?
Yeah, well, actually, Arctic Monkeys and Elton John are the two main headliners I think will be fun to watch. So.
Oh, yeah, Elton John's like your idol, isn't he?
Yeah, I love Elton John.
Haven't you got an Elton John tattoo somewhere?
No.
Okay.
Negative.
Right.
Alright, well, GG. Stay safe. Stay hydrated in this heat. And wear sun cream. See ya.
Yeah.